Hey guys, I just had to kick things off with this gem from Crypto Brothers. XRP will never crash 90% again, says Digital Ascension CEO. Now, here's what cracked me up. They totally butchered Jake Gaver's name in this article. They're calling him Jake Clover, like he's some kind of lucky charm or something. But you know what? He's spot on about this. XRP isn't going to tank by 90% again. I'm telling you right now. I keep seeing all these people in the comments going, oh, it's going to moon to $50 plus and then crash right back down under 50 cents. Look, I'm just not seeing it anymore. You know what I mean? With all this institutional demand flooding in, regulatory clarity finally happening, and Ripple literally getting a banking license, there's no way we're going back down. Listen, anything under $1, that's gone forever, guys. And honestly, I'm betting anything under $2 for XRP is also history at this point. People keep talking about these massive pullbacks coming. I just don't see it happening. Here's what I think is really going to blow your minds. We're heading into a full-blown utility explosion sometime in 2026. Because utility, that's what's going to absolutely drive XRP's price through the roof. And once that train starts rolling, we're never coming back to these bargain basement prices again. And get this, this actually comes straight from Paul Atkins himself. I'm pleased to announce the formation of the Crossbender Task Force. This is huge, people. This new task force, it's going to completely change the game. They're consolidating all the SEC's investigative power into one powerhouse unit, and they're using every tool they've got to crush transnational fraud. This is massive. Look, everyone's buzzing about when this new system goes live, right? XRP is about to start moving tokenized assets across borders like we've never seen before. We're talking digital currencies flowing seamlessly from country to country. It's incredible. But here's the thing, and this is crucial. We've got to clean house first. All that sketchy stuff, the illicit activity, the fraud happening in cross-border payments and transactions, that's got to go before we can unleash the full potential. And that's exactly what I think the SEC is gearing up to tackle head on. They're going to cut down on all this cross-border crime. And once they do, bam, that's going to pave the highway for moving tokenized assets and everything else seamlessly from one country to another, one person to another. So picture this. Someone in the US wants to send money to someone in Europe, right? But first, we've got to tackle the fraud and shady stuff that's out there. Now, Black Swan capitalists dropped some serious knowledge about RLUSD and XRP being the real deal for cross-border solutions. Here's the thing, though. Stablecoins, they're not the end game, guys. They're actually just tools for buying government debt. Think of XRP as your liquidity powerhouse. It's bridging any asset, anywhere, instantly. And here's where it gets interesting. Every time stablecoins handle these bridge settlements, XRP's price gets pushed higher. Why? Because every single stablecoin out there needs a bridge to function. But listen up, because he makes another crucial point in this clip. Whatever we're using absolutely has to be backed by real value.
In a sense, you could say as the new digital dollar, because if they're buying up treasury bonds and gaining acceptance globally, inevitably, you're going to see upward pressure on XRP. And why? A lot of people think XRP and RLUSD are two different things. Yes, they are. But the heart of settlement demands and liquidity management for these high-value tokenized debts, that's XRP. It would seem that stablecoins are essentially a lifeline, really, for the central banks and governments to keep them to propping up their fiat systems and buying new debt. It's not the solution, you see? So that's a dilemma I'm having right now as far as understanding how these two things play out. And the problem with traditional stablecoins, even RLUSD, despite the fact that the demand is there as a lifeline, and that's what I really believe, is they're one-to-one peg with fiat. And that's the problem, because that peg is fragile because it's tied to the US dollar. And the system can't sustain itself until it's bridged into physical, tangible assets.
So here's what he's basically saying. Since everything's tied to the US dollar right now, the whole system is super fragile and needs something solid backing it up. And guess what? Gold. Now listen, I'm totally convinced we're heading straight toward a gold-backed system. It's just a matter of time. But here's the million-dollar question. Who's going to roll out their gold-backed currency first? My money's on the BRICS nations. They're going to beat everyone to the punch. You guys need to listen to this next part.
I'm not going to call it prediction. I'm just going to a little Nostradamus that there's a BRICS stable coin that comes out in the next 12 months. that is backed by gold, not fully, but partially. Because I know they're doing a BRICS currency and they're going to want to have their stable coin, and what better message that this has got gold in it. And so I don't think the gold phenomena is going away.
I really don't think this whole gold thing is just going to fade away. Like I'm telling you, it's only going to gain more steam from here on out. I honestly believe they're going to bump up gold's value way before we even see a gold-backed currency hit the scene. But here's the kicker. BRICS is probably going to be the first to actually pull the trigger on this whole thing. And then boom, just like that, the US is going to scramble to create their own gold-backed digital dollar. The EU is going to rush to get their gold-backed digital euro ready. The UK, yeah, they'll need their gold-backed digital pound too. Everyone's going to want in on this action, trust me. But here's what's crazy about all this. Once this transition kicks off, it's going to move lightning fast. We're talking about something that won't get a fancy press release or a heads up announcement. This thing's going to come out of absolutely nowhere and catch everyone off guard when it finally drops. So this is coming straight from the source. All right. Now I keep hearing people say Swift's never going to use XRP, or ISO has absolutely nothing to do with XRP. But here's the thing. ISO 222 is actually switching the payload from MT to ISO 222 MX. So what's different in the data model? Well, crypto is the brand new feature they've added to the ISO MX message payload. And get this, all that rich data payload staying right there on the distributed ledger blockchain. Pretty wild stuff, right? Here's the deal with cross-border payments. Systems like Ripple are actually working alongside Swift now, which is pretty cool. Ripple's bringing some serious upgrades to the table, lightning fast payments, super quick settlements, crystal clear pricing, and way better data handling for all those remittance details. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Let's say you want to send money across borders, right? Well, ISO messaging is now opening doors for crypto to live right inside those payment messages. Here's the deal with Swift. They're actually not trying to build their own cross-border payment coin. I know, everyone keeps saying this stuff online. Like I see comments all the time going, Swift's totally going to launch their own coin for payments and just use it in their system. But here's what's really happening. Swift is already eyeing Ripple. Yeah. They're literally running trials right now with Ripple's tech. Pretty wild, right? Look, they totally get what XRP really is. They know it's the future. And it's not just me saying this. It's literally cited in every single BIS white paper about RippleNet technology. They're even talking about Stellar Tech too. Here's the thing about metals. They were huge from the 1900S to 2000S, but now it's way too late for regular people to jump in. You're basically priced out at this point. All digital now, and these digital assets are going to be backed by metals. Now, don't get me wrong. We're not going back to some old school dollar backed by metal standard. What we're getting is digitals as the new financial system backed by metals. Think quantum financial system. I don't think people are completely priced out of gold yet. And hey, people are still scooping up silver like crazy. But we are heading toward a gold backed system. And when that happens, you're going to see them use something like XRP to move that gold backed digital dollar, gold backed BRICS currency, all that stuff around the world. Every single country out there is going to need some kind of trust layer, right? Picture this, even within the BRICS nations, when Russia wants to send money to China or China needs to send money back to Russia, what happens in between? Well, you've got two crucial pieces working together. There's this trust layer, think XRP, that can literally move anything of value. It's like having this bridge currency that's also your liquidity provider rolled into one. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. XRP delivers liquidity on demand. So these BRICS countries, they could actually start up their own liquidity pool and just keep using XRP for all their internal money transfers. But wait, it gets even better. When they need to go outside their circle and send money to places like the United States, boom, they can still use XRP for that too. And it works both ways. Okay, this is where XRP gets absolutely insane. So picture this. The Biz, literally the boss of all central banks worldwide, is quietly setting up XRP as their secret weapon for global payments. Here's the crazy part. I've been tracking this. And the biz keeps name dropping Ripple and XRP in every single white paper they publish, even when markets were tanking. And now they're bringing Enbridge and China together so the BRICS powerhouses can build their payment superhighway using this exact same blueprint. RippleNet technology, it's already integrated into Enbridge, but here's what blows my mind. People still believe that BRICS nations won't touch RippleNet or XRP just because it's American. Guys, listen up. Ripple isn't even a US company anymore. They've gone completely global at this point. But wait, what about the DEX? The DEX, you know what's crazy? Everyone keeps bringing up the DEXs, but nobody's actually diving deep into what they mean. I'm talking about XRP ledgers, super DEXs. We're looking at asset and token portability using XRP ledger as the ultimate trading hub with seamless cross-chain interoperability. Don't just take my word for it, though. You need to hear what David Schwartz has to say about this.
One of the first things that we need is asset portability. That's not all of interoperability, but that's a big piece, and that's the piece we need now. And one possibility is the XRP ledger as a trading hub across blockchains with the DEX, the payment engine, pathfinding, the various different XRP ledger features that enable the movement of assets. In fact, one of the very first applications on the XRP ledger in the very, very early days was as a way to move Bitcoin faster and cheaper. Issued assets enable, remote assets that are based on different chains along with bridges. So I think that's an extremely important step towards interoperability, but it's just one piece. The industry has a long way to go. But if we want mass adoption, users are going to have great experiences. We have to solve interoperability problems. The XRP ledger could be a token bridge for asset portability, but that's not the whole solution.
Look, that's just scratching the surface here, guys. So get this. He actually said that back in the day, this whole thing was designed to move Bitcoin lightning fast for practically nothing. But here's where it gets crazy, right? You've got these Bitcoin maxis who are just absolutely refusing to touch the XRP ledger for moving their Bitcoin around. I mean, come on. They're literally too stubborn proud to even consider using the XRP ledger. You won't even have a conversation about what this ledger was actually created for, which was moving Bitcoin. This thing can transfer literally anything valuable, but people just flat out won't use it. Why? Because they either can't stand XRP or they are genuinely scared of what XRP represents. So Blair, the co-founder, drops this bomb. We're taking XRP to the moon, right? And Hugo Fallan's out there hyping up these new heights for XRP too. But hold up, what's actually standing in our way here? What's the real roadblock? Well, let me break it down for you guys. First off, we need rock solid custody solutions that people can actually trust. Then there's the whole regulatory mess. We're still waiting for crystal clear rules from the government. Plus, we absolutely have to get exchanges on board to properly support these wrapped assets. And here's the kicker. Everything needs to pass these super intense security checks for both the vaults and the oracles. So we're still in that waiting phase, right? This whole thing is still being built out. But here's the thing. As Flare keeps crushing it and crossing one bridge after another, I'm telling you, Flare's price is about to absolutely skyrocket. And listen, Flare brings even more utility to XRP, which is exactly why I've been telling you guys, seriously, you need to stack up a solid bag of Flare while it's still chilling at just 2 cents. Trust me, you don't want to be kicking yourself later when Flare smashes through that dollar mark, then hits $2.00 and keeps climbing. Now, don't get me wrong, Flare's still got some challenges to tackle before we see that real utility start pumping XRP's price. But check this out. Upgold survey just dropped, and this week's poll results are crazy. 53%. So do you think these Fed cuts are going to flip the script? This month, 43% of people are betting Bitcoin's going to smash through that 110K barrier. And honestly, I'm here for it. Then you've got 44% who are absolutely pumped about Solana's upgrade being a total game changer. But here's the kicker. 87% believe XRP has the most insane near-term upside potential. And you know what? I'm totally on board with that prediction. Now, 45% think September's closing green, and I'm calling it right now. It's definitely going to close green, especially for XRP. Mark my words on that one. I still think we're about to see some major catalysts drop this month. Just wait for it. But here's what I really believe. Bitcoin's getting ready to absolutely explode too. Listen, this cycle isn't done yet. Bitcoin's got one massive move left in the tank. And when that beast finally breaks out, it's going to drag the entire crypto space along for the ride. That's when we'll witness those jaw-dropping numbers for XRP everyone's been waiting for. So this is literally about to go down later this year, maybe early next year, right? And here's the thing that's absolutely blowing my mind. All these people are about to sell and they have no idea. They're pulling the trigger way too early. Like, I'm not even kidding. The number of people just dying to dump their XRP bags is honestly insane. It's like watching someone leave a movie theater during the previews thinking they just watched the whole film. And dude, this gives me major deja vu from 2021. Remember that madness? Everyone was literally screaming $10, 0 cents XRP, $13, 0 cents XRP. But here's what killed me. Most of those same people had their finger hovering over that sell button at $8, 0 cents or $9, 0 cents, thinking they were going to pull some genius move and buy back cheaper. Plot twist, they bailed way too early on the whole Ripple universe explosion. So that whole SEC drama with XRP, yeah, that's behind us now. And you know what? That was literally the main thing holding XRP back. All those major exchanges dropping it because of the uncertainty. But guess what? That roadblock is completely gone now. And oh my gosh, if you really think about everything that's happened since 2021, I mean, even during that brutal bear market, the amount of growth we've seen around XRP and Ripple has been absolutely insane. Guys, I'm telling you right now, this upcoming run is going to blow everyone's minds. Like, I genuinely don't think people are prepared for what's coming. We're talking about life-changing money here over the next few months. But listen, until all this craziness unfolds, just stay patient with me, keep that positive energy flowing, and let's all get rich together. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. You guys mean the world to me. Catch you in the next video. Have an amazing night, everyone.